Hello, Rebel Scientists. Today we're going to be talking about the last two organelles that we're going to cover in this unit. And you notice I'm only going to be using the plant cell side of our notebook because both of the organelles that I'm going to talk about are only found in plants, not in animals. So the first one is cell wall, and the second one is called chloroplast. So I'm going to start with the cell wall. So all plant cells have a cell membrane, as we covered earlier. But plants also have this hard protective coating called a cell wall as well. So think about it. If you were in the forest and there was suddenly a wildfire, what would you do? I would venture to guess that you would get up and you would run away to save yourself. So can trees do that? Can trees get up and save themselves like that? They can't. Okay? They're stuck. So another example, a great example too, is that if you saw a herd of buffalo coming towards you, you could get up and run and get out of the way. But if you're grass growing, on the floor of some forest or some grasslands, you're stuck. You cannot move. So your cells have to be able to survive the trampling that they would take because this giant herd of buffalo just walked over you. They need something tougher than just a cell membrane to help them survive. That's what cell walls do for plants. Now, some cell walls are harder than others. Grass, even though it has cell wall, is still pretty soft. But think of a tree. Trees have very hard cell walls, and we see them, we call that, that's what ends up being the wood when the tree dies or you cut it, or just as the tree is growing, it is what we call wood, okay? So these cell walls are very hard, outer protective, rigid outer layer that protects the cell, but it also gives it shape, okay? So this is our cell wall. The other organelle that I'm going to talk about is something that really, really defines plants, and that is the chloroplast. So what chloroplasts do is they help plants make their own food. That is something that animals cannot do. If animals could do that, people could just sit out in the sun and make food to feed their body, and no one would ever starve to death. Unfortunately, we're not able to do that. What chloroplast has is a chemical called chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is the green pigment that makes plants look green. The chlorophyll is sort of like a solar panel, and the whole chloroplast, like a solar panel. It takes energy from the sun, and also using water and carbon dioxide, takes it and makes it into what we call glucose. It's a type of sugar. And again, don't think sugar like, like something sweet. That's just how that is just what these chemicals are called, sugars. And they're made by plants. So remember, when you eat a hamburger bun, well, that came from wheat, and that was a sugar. When you eat the patty on the hamburger, the cow ate the grass, and that was sugar, and that became part of his muscle and what you're eating now. So the whole world runs on this glucose that plants made. If all the animals went away one day, plants would be just perfectly happy on our planet. But if all plants go away, everything on earth will die because all food starts with plants. Okay? And so the organelle that makes these the glucose are called chloroplasts. Okay? And they're just kind of oval. If you have a plant that is like really, really green, it probably has a lot of these. Sometimes you have a plant that you put in the shade. Well, the plant stops making chlorophyll because there's no need. It's not getting sun. It's sort of like the mitochondria. If you exercise a lot, you're going to have a lot more mitochondria in animal bodies. And in plant cells, if the plant is in really direct sun, then it makes a lot more chlorophyll. If you take that same plant and put it where it doesn't get a lot of sun, it's not going to be look as green. Then your plant is going to stop making so many chloroplasts, which has chlorophyll. So I'm going to color these in green for obvious reason, because the chlorophyll is what makes plants look green. Now you might think like, well, I don't see any green roses. Well, roses are specialized, any kind of flower are specialized leaves. And their purpose is not to do photosynthesis. Their purpose is to attract pollinators to come and get their pollen and take it to other flowers and to pass on their genes. So that is not their primary job. They don't usually have any chloroplasts. You're not going to find chloroplasts in roots because they're underground. They don't get the sun, so there's no need for the roots to have any chloroplasts. If you think of vegetables that grow underground, like potatoes, that they're white in color, or carrots that grow underground, they're orange, they're not green. They don't need to be. Roots are usually white in almost every type of plant because they don't need to be green. They don't have the opportunity to be, with the sun to be able to make any glucose with this chlorophyll. Okay, so those are our two new I'm sorry. This is why I'm never going to be a YouTube star. Our two new organelles that only belong to plants. So notice I put it over here because I want you to see that these only belong to plants. I don't have to try to bring it over here near the animal cell because they don't relate at all. Again, we don't have cell walls because we can run away from danger. We don't have chloroplasts because we eat other organisms to get our food, unlike plants who make their own food. And that is all we have today for their test. I am going to test you next week, next Thursday and Friday. You do need to know all five of these organelles and know that all five are shared between plant and animal cell. And in addition, you have to know that cell walls and chloroplasts are found only in plant cells. Alrighty, have a wonderful day.